immigration. And we've been talking about this for a while now, but like the way that Democrats over the past 4 years, like when Trump was in office, it was kids in cages, they were saying the right things, all this. Biden takes office, does 90% of the same shit Trump was doing, and gets criticized for it by Republicans, and Democrats go, you know what the answer to this is? To do more of what the Republicans want. And that is literally what we're seeing. The first bill passed by the new Republican control, I guess it was Republican controlled House, but whatever. And I actually didn't see if it was passed by the Senate today. But it's the Laken Riley Act. And Laken Riley is the girl whose death Republicans, rattled around like a fucking mascot for their anti-immigration crusade because she was killed by a illegal immigrant who was previously detained for shoplifting, right? And this Laken Riley Act, what it says is we're not going to address any of the actual problems with immigration in this country. We're just going to make it so that when local law enforcement arrests a illegal immigrant, they must detain him potentially indefinitely and so that he can be deported. But also, we are not going to give any money to these systems in order to build detention centers. And so they're basically just going to become concentration camps.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, I think 40 Democrats voted for this shit in the House. And it's like multiple senators, fucking John goddamn Fetterman is co-signing it and acting like, I don't know why you guys are getting all upset. And it's like, yeah, because I believe in fundamental human rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe someone should have a different penalty for a crime because of their immigration status, because that isn't equality under the law. And the obvious detrimental effects of this is it's empowering the Republicans to create the concentration camps they want to fucking create. We should be dragging our feet and preventing all mass deportation efforts. And they're fucking not just failing to defend people, but actively joining the side that's doing the harm. And it's like, fuck, I feel incredibly discouraged. As much as I feel encouraged by the incompetency of the Republicans, I feel incredibly discouraged by what I'm seeing from the Democrats.
Yeah, it's and that's the point right there is if it's Republicans, it doesn't matter if Republicans agree with the bill or not. If Democrats are trying to pass it, they're against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Democrats always move to the right with Republicans. Well, we've got to reach across the aisle. We've got to, and it's like, oh, this talking point seems to be resonating with Republicans who they're always worried about trying to get votes from for some fucking reason. And so they just run hook, line, and sinker after it. And immigration was the perfect example. But it's like, we need an opposite. You need to have some different policy. Like if you want to go with them on this policy, just become fucking Republicans at this point. What are you doing that's any different than the policy that they're putting up? Because that's all it says. The Laken Riley Act is a fucking joke. And so was the whole immigration bill that Biden put up. That Republicans, it was everything they wanted that they tanked. And like, I'm glad that they tanked it because I thought it was a horrible bill. But like the Democrats handed them everything they wanted and they tanked it not to give Democrats a win. And why the fuck were Democrats doing the opposite of that? Why were they not going with, what, we should have more open borders. We should be inviting people in who can contribute to our country. We should be defending people who've spent their whole lives here and have contributed, to the United States of America as dreamers and like stuff like that. They don't do that. They're just like, yep, we're just going to go do this. But Republicans will never hesitate to do that. I mean, I don't know.
And the annoying part is, actually, no, TJ, we were just speaking for a long time. You should get to talk as well.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that I like the point that you brought up there with the fact that for Republicans, it doesn't matter at all if there's aspects of a bill or, the majority of a bill put forward by Democrats that they agree with. Like, no, we're not helping you. We're not doing it. Like they've made a career out of this and we should too. That is a great point. It's an excellent point because I was looking through the Laken Riley Act and I was trying to parse out like if any of it made sense to me because it was the Senate voted to continue debate on it, John. Like 30 Democrats.
I didn't catch that because they vote at like 3-4 o'clock or something. Some of us got jobs on top of this. We don't. The Soros check hasn't come in still, so.
And so they. The bill says that, so right now under, federal law, I think that you have to if someone's convicted of an aggravated felony like murder or something, you have to detain them and begin the deportation process and everything. And they want to extend this. And if I remember, it was theft, burglary, larceny, and shoplifting. Shoplifting, of course, insane. Again, insane to, detain, deport someone for shoplifting or whatever. And I was like, well, burglary, I can understand that one. I mean, or, if larceny, if it's a high enough amount. And then, but that's a great point. No, fuck them. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, this is game theory here. Do you want to win or not? And if we keep capitulating to the Republicans, we're going to keep losing. It's going to keep happening. I just want to point out, that was a great point. Go ahead, John.
So like what Fetterman said was like, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. If they're here illegally and they commit a crime, yeah, get them out of here. It just makes sense. And it's like, why not do that to Americans then? If you think someone committing a crime means that like it's beneficial for us to not have them in our country, why not just fucking kill them? I don't understand why there is some different set of rules for someone based on where they were born. Either you think that if you commit a low-level felony, you can still be a positive member of American society, or you can't be. It has nothing to do with your immigration status. The only goal of this is to deport illegal immigrants. And sure, if that's your goal, then fine, but you're accepting the Republican framework that deporting them is beneficial in the first fucking place, which isn't true. And I don't just say this like this is my opinion. I mean, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office analyzed the economic impact of the illegal immigrants that entered the U.S. during the Biden administration alone and found that they were going to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. $1 trillion fucking dollars gone. Boom, poof. And that's just deficit reduction. That's not even counting all of the jobs that they do that make our fucking lives possible. And so it's just by capitulating to this, you're accepting their framework. And people always say, oh, well, the American people are just anti-immigration. Bitch, that's because you're the one who's supposed to tell them otherwise. You're the leader. Go out there and lead.
And on top of that, then the Lake and Riley Act is a perfect example of this. It's focusing on immigrants are criminals, which is a completely bullshit assertion statistically. They're the most law-abiding people in our country across the board, which makes total sense. Obviously, if you are in constant fear of being deported after you probably risked your life to get into the country to begin with, the last thing you're going to do is try to draw attention to yourself by committing fucking crimes. So they took the one time they could find something egregious enough where it happened, and they've made this a pedestal thing. And why the fuck aren't Democrats dying on that hill of no? If we were going to start deporting fucking criminals, let's start with all you fucking Republicans, because you are the most corrupt, criminal, fucking felonious people on the goddamn planet. But no, we're just going to again capitulate and allow this narrative of complete and utter bullshit to move forward through the Democratic Party for no fucking reason. What is there to gain? And every time we give them a little bit because they never play ball with us, that's always a win for them, and it's never a win for us. And this is why the ratchet effect is real.
Yeah, it kind of, to me, it goes to, one of you guys mentioned something, what I read it down here about like the no substance. That's what it was, about having no substance to your political beliefs. And that seems to be true with a lot of just MAGA folks. They know the because honestly, look, I don't believe that your average person thinks that shoplifting should be a deportable offense. I don't. I don't. I mean, the most insane MAGA person, I think if I sat them down and asked them that, they probably say no. At least, then again, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before about these folks. Maybe a lot of them are that crazy. But
it doesn't deportable. Everything you do should be a deportable. Just your existence is a deportable offense if you are, deportable because you're not here legally or whatever.
Yeah, but like you said, Dr. Wagon, this applies to every non-citizen. Like this is. But they're folks about the illegal immigration part though.
Does it?
But yeah,
does it apply to legal non-citizens?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's so,
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, it's every non-citizen would be under this jurisdiction. That it's like, because you're like on a probationary period, I guess, until you're an American citizen, for years, and you fuck up, they can get rid of you at any time. And this just adds to the list by putting fucking shoplifting on there. But yeah,
can you imagine? I just want to say, can you imagine? You're just a fucking tourist. And you don't even speak English. You accidentally commit a fucking misdemeanor crime, and then the cops arrest you. And like, we got to detain you indefinitely. And you're like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, what is this fucking, that's fucking like when people talk about like communist Russia, they talk about like what China does. That's what the fuck it is. That's exactly what I fear about going to China. Of like, oh, well, if I say the wrong thing, I could just be thrown in prison for the rest of my life. I don't even know how fucking true that is. But apparently that's what they're trying to do here in America.
Yeah. I have been to China, and I had that thought when I went there. It's not like that, actually. It's actually kind of pleasant.
I know that's propaganda, and I know it does happen, but like I know it's mostly just propaganda is like making that fear in my mind. But
yeah, unlike in the United States, where we have the highest criminal population by raw numbers and per capita on planet Earth. But Stalin's gulags, folks, gotta remember how bad that was. Unlike our gulags that we have all the time. But yeah, it's
at least there's no fight fires for us for free.
Yeah, at least we're making. Yeah, we don't send them to the frozen tundra to do nothing. You know, we actually get good work out of them. But you know, it's like with the no substance thing. It's they like the messaging and the signaling of the strong man and shit, and it's why inexplicably I would have thought for sure that Donald Trump coming out with the Greenland thing years ago would have been like the goofiest thing. He's expanded it. No, we want Greenland, we want Canada, we want Panama, we want to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Shit that's not going to happen or doesn't matter at all. And they're all clapping, they're all going crazy for it. I don't know. It's a lot of content creators. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, like they've kind of gone dark. You don't really see them a lot anymore, and they've kind of lost that fire. And I get it, but I don't blame them at all. I don't, because it is going to be a rough 4 years. It's going to be a rough 20 years. Like it is, and we all kind of realize that. And this is just the beginning, especially if the Democrats aren't going to offer a lot of resistance on it. That's a great point.
All right, I think that is an excellent segue.
That's good.
For our last topic of the day.
Let's do it, folks.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It has been an excellent return here in 2025, and I hope you take our New Year's resolutions seriously. If you want to hear from an awesome content creator that you haven't heard of before, our guest, Off Your Wagon, how can people find you?
It's just OFF_JAWAGGON on pretty much all the platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, although I don't get paid for this except for video views and some other stuff. So if you follow me on TikTok or YouTube, I do get paid for you watching that content. So I always appreciate that there. But obviously, you listen to the content. That's why we do what we do. So if Instagram's where you consume, I appreciate that too. I've got a website, offyourwagon.com, where you can get merch, and we've got a podcast as well that John's been on. Hopefully we can get TJ and John on there together soon, or maybe just TJ by himself so he can have a little bit of the spotlight to himself. But that's the Let Them Eat Toast podcast. That's every week on Tuesday. You can get that wherever you get your podcast or on my YouTube channel in video form like this as well. So yeah, check me out if you like what I have to say here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Off Your Wagon. Would love to be on your podcast sometime. Sorry I couldn't make it the last show. But yeah, folks, thanks for watching the show. We appreciate you checking in on John reminded me the first episode of the year for the Left Wing. And stay tuned for the next 12 months. We guarantee you will be seeing a whole lot more hypocrisy, lying, insults, and casual use of violent language. We got that for you all 12 months of 2025. You heard it here first. Catch you later, folks. All right. Good stuff.